Could TJ Brodie be on his way out of the Maple Leafs organization? Okay, wait just 1 second. Before we go any deeper in the video, if you are not subscribed, hit the subscription button down below for all the Toronto Maple Leafs news throughout this time, the buyout time, the draft, NHL free agency, all of it. Hit the subscription button down below and make sure to leave a like and let me know. Is TJ Brodie really going to be bought out? Wait for the answer at the end of the video. As many of us know, this time of year is when the NHL buyout window opens, meaning that any player that has a not so good contract with a team, the team can choose to buy him out and they would get some cap regeneration from that buyout, meaning they would save money in the years to come. We saw it a few days ago with the Vancouver Canucks buying out Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and over the course of last season, there was a lot of talk around Matt Murray possibly getting bought out by Toronto at the end of this season after all of his injury struggles throughout the past year. But throughout that talk, there has been an emergence of another player on the Maple Leafs who could potentially get bought out, and that is TJ Brodie. During the Daily Faceoff live show on Monday, Frank Seravalli was discussing a few of the buyout candidates, and he talked a little bit about Matt Murray being one of the candidates on Toronto, but then he also said that there might be another sneaky one in there in TJ Brodie. Brodie has 2 years remaining on his contract with the Maple Leafs, and if you go to Cap Friendly and you go to their buyout calculator and you go to TJ Brodie, you'll see that if Toronto was to buy him out, they would have a $0 cap hit on Brodie's AAV this season, and then a $2.5 million cap hit on next season, meaning that you would get $2.5 million off with a cap hit over next season because Brodie's initial cap hit is $5 million. So you would essentially save a lot of money here. You would save $5 million on the first year and $2.5 million on the second year, which it's not pretty bad, but buying out a guy like TJ Brodie, does that even make sense? Let me know in the comment section down below what do you think, because when I saw this, I was like, huh? Why would you ever want to buy out a guy like TJ Brodie? Obviously, he's getting up there in age, but he's been one of the Maple Leafs' best defensemen over the last few years, especially in the playoffs. And if you go to Natural Stat Trick and look at the underlying stats from all the Maple Leafs defensemen in the playoffs this year, Brodie has been very good. An expected goals for percentage over 50%. That is very positive. There's a lot of good things from TJ Brodie that we saw in the playoffs. He was alongside Jake McCabe and was very good at limiting Tampa's best players at getting on the board in terms of goals, in terms of assists, in terms of points in general. He's been in the middle of the pack, as you can see on every stat it looks like on Natural Stat Trick. And if you think about the type of player he is too on the ice, just from the eye test, he is one of Toronto's best shutdown defensemen. He is one of the guys in the top 4 who can play either the left or the right side, which is very good as well. It's a very good thing to have. And whether he plays with Morgan Rielly, whether he plays with Jake McCabe, there's always been success with TJ Brodie. There's never been any question marks around his game. I want to ask you, do you ever think, that was a bad game from TJ Brodie? I think when you look at the consistency that he has season in, season out, like you look at the regular season he had last year, I don't think there was ever a stretch of games or even one game where I was sitting there asking myself, TJ Brodie looked off today. I don't think any of that, because TJ Brodie is one of the best defenders on this Maple Leafs team. And to look at even buying him out, it would be ridiculous. It wouldn't make sense. You're essentially buying out a guy who is one of your best defenders, and then you're going to be set on looking for another defenseman. And yeah, sure, the $0 cap hit would be a great thing, but at the same time, you're losing a good defenseman, and I don't think that's worth it at the end of the day. It is 100% not worth it. But as we say that it is not worth it, there is news that anything involving TJ Brodie getting bought out from the Maple Leafs is not true. From Toronto Sun's Terry Koshan, source, no truth to the buyout rumors regarding the Leafs and TJ Brodie. Now, I don't really know if this was ever a rumor. Frank Seravalli just threw it out there that this would be an interesting buyout candidate, but it is interesting that he even just threw it out there because, again, it's TJ Brodie. It would never be a buyout candidate that the Leafs would ever take part in because A, he's a really good defenseman, and B, TJ Brodie has a relationship with Brad Treliving going all the way back to Calgary. That would just not make sense for Treliving to really, I mean, I don't want to say, I think double side would be the right word, but to just axe someone who was a good defenseman in Calgary and now with the Maple Leafs is also very good. It wouldn't make sense from Treliving's standpoint. And, you know, it's just interesting that this has blown into this much of a proportion, because at the end of the day, everyone knows, even the fans know, that TJ Brodie is one of the most important defensemen on this Maple Leafs team. And to see even people discussing a possibility of a buyout, well, it's quite ridiculous. It's quite interesting, though, at the same time, because, again, the $0 cap hit, it could do good things for this Maple Leafs team, but not to the caliber that you would think. There's no point in getting rid of a good defenseman who will have a $0 cap hit. It doesn't make sense to me. There are other ways to make this team better, and it's not the way to go if you were to get rid of TJ Brodie. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Should the Leafs have maybe explored that a little bit more? Should they explore the Matt Murray buyout? Is that an interesting thing to you? Let me know all your suggestions and comments in the comment section down below. That, though, is going to be it for this video today. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like. If you really enjoyed it, subscribe. That helps a lot. And as always, if you are subscribed already, hit the bell so you know when I upload a video right on time. So again, thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one.